remember several years ago, I think it was when Mac's mailbox was used, he brought all the cards in, and we had a sorting party or something where we opened them and stacked them up. Would that be something that you would want to do rather than have to do it all yourself, just bring it in?
That's what we're planning on doing, yes.
Okay.
Is using some time after a club meeting, after Route 66 is over with, to do that. Probably the October meeting, since the September meeting will be close to when it's over with, and we're not gonna have all the cards by then. So it might be October, might be November, but that's the
Or
plan.
both.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I have all the stuff now. I have all the old cards, and that was kind of handed to me by Hal.
So.
Yeah, we'll be.
And if you guys remember the last meeting or read the meeting minutes from the last meeting, Sam will be doing that and putting it under the club name. So we'll have a PO box for the club without regard to officers and members and things like that. Secretary's report.
The minutes were emailed out to everybody, and video segments are up from the last meeting are up on YouTube. Share to the club Facebook page.
When you get the, going back to the Route 66 and the parks on here, when you get your documentation done,
Yes.
I will post it to the Route 66 time slot site so that you can click on it, download it, and read it.
Download the PDF?
Yep.
Okay.
Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, the statement of conditions was emailed out, but I just want to point out, we've had some really good donations for some of the used equipment that we're giving away, so we're not, billionaires here, but we're doing pretty well. Collected $1,125 for donations for used equipment so far. Also, since we're on the subject, got a motion last meeting for $150 for a PO box / UPS box. And a couple things have happened. The UPS store down here on Air Depot has no boxes available. That was the one I was hoping to get a UPS box at because it's close to here. It'd be easy coming to meetings to swing in there and grab the mail and stuff. But they have no boxes available, no inclination when they might have a box. So the next closest UPS store is like Northwest Expressway where I have mine, or up on May, or MacArthur. I mean, there's just nothing else on this end of town as far as UPS. So I got looking at post office boxes, and there is availability up here at Reno on the I guess it's at the Midwest City, Del City. Anyway, the one a couple miles down from Reno up there, they have availability. Yeah,
Do you have access to Tinker?
No.
Okay.
I think there's also availability over where Mac has his box.
There's plenty of boxes available at the Del City post office.
I just looked online a while ago and it looks like they're available now. That brings me around to the price. Just a PO box. I asked for $150. I thought it's going to be more like $240 for a year for a small box at either the UPS store or post office. So,
Ooh, that's a lot.
that's, do we still want to pursue that? I think we need to, and I think, having multiple people with keys is important. But something can happen to any one of us. It might be a mess.
Okay, so are you calling a question?
Yeah, I'm just asking for conversation. I mean, I don't
Okay.
think,
Discussion?
I think my PO box it's actually at the Del City post office, but it's a separate zip code, 73155. And I think I pay $120 a year.
Yeah, that's not what they're showing online for a small box. But
I just got through paying it.
anyway,
Okay,
What's
so
the,
I guess.
If you're, depends upon the size of the box, and if you're using it as an organization, they're probably charging you a commercial price.
I just went online and 30 minutes ago, went online to see what the post offices have online.
So you're gonna research it some more?
Well, and question, would we rather have it over?
Authorize the higher price.
First question is, would we rather have it over here
They've been using my address for close to 10.
What is the volume that you get in the mailbox other than Route 66?
Not much.
Not much. I'm not sure I want to pay hardly anything for one time a year a lot.
That's right, I agree that.
That doesn't sound cost effective to me. I mean, it's not,
Well, he's talking about from Route 66.
other than that, there's not much traffic to that mailbox.
Right now, I'm using my company's mailbox. Like, we use Max. I'm using my company's, and I'll just tell you, my wife has a key, so if something happens to me, she can get you into the box to get the mail.
I mean, if in fact an officer holds a position for a couple years, I find that a better deal to just change every couple years than to pay $200s for a 1 month a year thing.
And if I may, not to hijack
No,
the
I'm done.
discussion, I'm gonna
I
add to
put it out, so I'm done.
The reason we were looking at going to a non-person oriented box was to keep it with the club. None of us are getting younger. We all lose days every morning. And Mac has been gracious enough to allow us to use his box for a very long time. It was our suggestion that we move it to other than a person so that it would go with the club. That way, as our membership changes or whatever, we're not relying on a person to be there. I know that sounds kind of cold, but that's the way I was looking at it. Going with the FedEx box or the UPS box, it's a commercial institution, and theoretically, we could move the location of the box if they have boxes available. I know that the Norman store has boxes available, okay? But that's outside of the beaten path of most of this club.
Well, I also found out, Steve, I talked to my UPS store. Each of these stores is basically a franchise. They're owned by a person, and he may own, the guy that owns mine has 2 stores, but moving from one store to another,
Is it
you
gonna
pay
happen?
for 10 years at this one, you're at this one for 10 years.
Okay.
You know, it's,
So, you're right. The traffic that we're aware of going through the box, like Max said, is minimal. Okay?
the other thing we get are dues. You know, people mail in their dues.
Okay. So I guess we have several questions to put out. The first is, are we going to continue the efforts? Number 1. Number 2 is a regular post office box good enough if we continue the efforts? Number 3 is, given that it's going to be more expensive, do we allocate and vote for more money to fund the box? Up to $250 or whatever it was you said a minute ago.
Well, I actually still have it on my phone here. Over here where Mac has his on 23rd Street, these extra small box, which we probably do because there's nothing in there. It's $176 for 12 months. A small box is $226 for 12 months.
Okay, so.
That's cheaper than.
Check more.
First question is Matt, do you mind then if the club chooses to continue using your box for Route 66 and stuff like
Doesn't
that?
bother me any.
Okay.
The people there know that come September, October time, my box will fill up and they put a box out there, leave a note in mine, said, come pick up your mail, and I do. They know me by name over there. I've been at that post office for 40 years.
Okay, so question number 1, I need to hear a motion that says we either continue or discontinue. Word your motion accordingly going forward.
Discontinue using a personal box.
Discontinue looking for a new box and continue using Max box
Or somebody else's.
or someone else's.
Well, I think your first idea of getting a club box is the right thing to do. With checks coming in, I've been involved in organizations that were much more, it turned out there was some wishy-washy stuff going on, and then you get into audits and all that stuff. So just going forward, it would be more business-like to have a box for the business, but that's just my opinion.
I have all my business stuff, bills and stuff like that, bank accounts and everything coming to the P.O. box, because I don't trust the mailbox that's sitting out on the street curb.
That makes sense.
I had that a long time before we started using it for club stuff.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I would like to point out that I think you did this, Steve. We also have an OCAPA email address now, ocapa.okc@gmail. And I'm doing all club business, all my treasurer business goes through that. So Steve has the password to it, I have the password to it. I think being an organization, we need 2 or 3 people that have access to all this stuff. And I think we should pursue a P.O. box, but 240, 50, actually Reno's the cheaper